everyone. You got Lars here from Gondola, and what I want to talk about here today is personally for us here at Gondola, we use the MEDDPICC deal qualification framework. We think it's one of the most stronger qualification frameworks out there, and we really abide by it. So, but in our workings with a lot of different customers, a lot of times they're using a framework like MEDDPICC or Spin Selling or BANT or what have you, and they're looking for easier ways to be scaling that. Usually they see this initial training, uptick in adoption, and then it kind of plummets in the next month or 2 months subsequent following after that. Reps just kind of revert back to their old ways. So, it's one of the things we're really focused on is how do we make sure we have that ongoing adoption? How do we enable reps in real time to follow the questions in the process we're trying to get them to follow? And the whole point of this is so we can have more accurate forecasts, certainly, but then also we're speaking a more common language. We can actually help each other out a little bit more effectively when we have this kind of standardized qualification framework in place and help to do deal reviews and work through that deal strategy here. So I wanted to walk you through how we think about enabling our team and one of the ways that we thought about it in real time as it pertains to MEDDPICC. And certainly this could apply to any other qualification framework out there, but I wanted to walk you through how we do it and how we built out our templates to make that a possibility. So let's dig in. What we believe is, yes, you have these great trainings that happen, but you see that uptick in adoption and then it kind of plummets. And so what's missing or the gap here is that real-time enablement and ongoing outside of just deal reviews with your boss or the initial trainings that happen. And so when we think about MEDDPICC, one way that we've structured it in our own instance is right here embedded directly into Zoom. I have kind of 4 key parts of MEDDPICC that I'm trying to focus on. And depending upon where I'm at in my sales cycle, I might be focused on a different section of this or wherever my gaps might be. And so as I approach and enter into a call, there might be a spot where I just need to review some general information. This could be what were my next steps last time? What's the close date, stage, amount, any of those kind of more general information that helps me get an understanding of where we're at with this deal. But then as you go into this, let's say I'm in a discovery call, right? It's more of an early stage deal, whether it's initial discovery call, second discovery call, initial demo, so on and so forth. This is where we break out MEDDPICC specific to each kind of early stage, mid stage, and late stage. So what we've thought through is, well, if we're earlier in a deal, we want to understand their current state. What CRM are they using? What's their business validation behind these pieces? And you can see we've baked in questions we want our reps to be asking, the Salesforce fields that are most important to us that we want them to be filling out in the early stages of that deal. So that cascades down as we get into the actual metrics, implications of pain, who's our champion, who's our economic buyer. And these are the key pieces that we're trying to uncover in those early stage deals to keep our reps really focused as they go into those calls, ask really deep questions. And certainly, yes, there are always extenuating circumstances where we say, well, we might, we have a really chatty kind of prospect and we want to dig a little bit deeper and they're, into the decision criteria or decision process. Certainly, it's always here at your fingertips. But we don't want to, convolute the conversation. And we want our reps to be really focused. And so in the early stages, we have them focus on these pieces, collapse that down. Once we get into more mid-stage conversations, so this could be your demos, this is where we're kind of understanding decision criteria. And, can your champion, hopefully their champion at that point, who's your economic buyer? Maybe they could be your economic buyer. So understanding what's your decision criteria? What is the process by which you go through to make that decision? This is a core focus here, especially as you're going through product and a product demonstration. And then as you end up kind of in the later stages, and again, certainly, of course, that you can get some of this information earlier in the sales cycle, but as a generalization here, as we move towards later stages, we want to understand the paper process. So when you've made decisions in the past, who's all involved, what steps need to happen to get that contract signed? Is there a legal review? Who does the legal review? Who signs the paperwork? So on and so forth. So this helps us just kind of create focus in our conversations and our calls. And make sure that reps really are digging deeply in the early stages for the things that we think are most important. So what are the metrics we're trying to improve here? What is the current state? What is the future state of that business? Why can't they get there? What happens if they don't solve this problem? So on and so forth. Because if you don't get these first initial pieces, you can know all their paper process, decision criteria, and decision process, and it's not really going to do you any good. And so the most important thing is focus as it pertains to scaling MEDDPICC. And this is one of the ways that we do it, just breaking it out into early stage, mid stage, and late stage deals and give the reps the flexibility to gather that information, consistent questions, and putting it all back into the CRM here. So if you have any additional thoughts, questions, comments, feel free to leave them on this video or in the comment section down here. Really appreciate you watching here, and thank you so much for the time.